about people. I want to talk about it. Here we go. Communication. Communication is the key. However, at the same time, if someone doesn't, just because someone didn't communicate with you, you don't need to be upset about it because it could also be like a way of like life looking out for you. You know, like saying if somebody was like, "Hey, can we carpool? Cause you're going here, I want to go to. We go together." And then you call yourself like, "Okay, yeah, I'll be the designated driver." And you pick up that person, they done already started off drunk, and they just about to get more drunk throughout the night. And then you got this drunk person in your ride that you're just like, "You feel alright?" Keep on like making it seem like you're about to throw up. I almost throw it up in my car. Or they being a little ignorant, belligerent, and just as much as you might be like, "Yeah, I'm about to kick you out," but what if they just do something? Just so like something because I was kind of ragging on a older family member, which they're like so much older than me. But I was like, man, if you'd have communicated, and now as I sit back, I'm like, I'm giving them a bad time. But I'm kind of glad they didn't because I felt like they were in a position that I just didn't want to be a witness to, and I'm concerned for someone that they're not comprehending, about the concern. Because irregardless, they have did what they did, and it's just got to run its course. So, be like, am I my brother's, mother's, sister's, friend's keeper? Not anymore. I used to be. It's like here's another revelation. I had ran into an old acquaintance. We'll call it that, because it's funny how we had this kind of thing going, but because they never put a label. So funny how people are, and it's not like I want one, but it's just like I can only imagine because because they do talk about me. And it's like, but I can only imagine how they talk about me to people, and it's so funny. And even though it's like there's been times where she might have stood up for me, but going to my point I want to make, I was with an acquaintance and they had their friends with them, and one of their friends socialized with me. And even though I was like, I could really care less, I just want to say this, I could really care less. I did not want to be friends with anyone. But they had attempted to extend their hand out to me, as if they wanted to be an acquaintance. Which, at the same time, like, I'm always cool with people. So, and even though it's like neither here nor there, I never heard from her. But I realized that about how people are. It's like there's two types of people. There's the players and then there's the played. And I've definitely been on the played side, and that's where, because I'm just a kind of generous by nature, I guess, is the best way to put it. Thoughtful and considerate and stuff. And so when I met this girl, from what it supposedly is like she's still new to the crowd, and she goes every time they hang out, because there was two others. She says every time they hang out, they invite me. They don't talk to me. I don't like it. And I was just kind of tickled. I'm like, yeah, that's definitely how the main character just kind of is at times. But I said, hey, don't worry. I'm like, you can always just call me. If I'm coming up there, then you got somebody. I'm just joking around. But we ended up, our mutual connection, we ended up having a conversation. I was like, they really have made me realize, because I was the one, you're right, that was like, hey, what you want to do? Well, hell, I can take you over to there. I know where it's at. It's not far at all. And hey, don't worry about it. I got some soda to share. You can just have some of my soda. It's just a metaphor. And um, breaking it down, it was just like I put myself in a position to where it's like, yeah, people where it's like there's no respect to be made, so they're not gonna give you any anyway. Not me. Hey, what's up, Connor? I remember I had a Connor, and was that Lou Animar? I need to put my glasses on. And so you know, I was like, it just made me realize why are you in the dark. Well, I just pulled up, so that's why it's just dark here. I just pulled up. I can turn on the light. I gotta put on my glasses so I can see what you guys are saying, understand what you're saying. Oh, it's so fuzzy. Uh, Luanny Mark, Serrano's Duran, boxer sound like name. And so, I was like, and I'm kind of older now, and I'm like, I should like really know better, but it's more natural for me to just be who I am. You know what I mean? Than to try to be some way, like I'm gonna be like nonchalant. But I'm like, I've realized now it's like you really got to be like that because the world is still turning. People are still gonna be like how they are, and even more so. It is really like not so much the survival of the fittest, but it's like, hey, hold on to yours and get others, especially if they want to give it to you. And because I had asked about like, hey, are we gonna see her again? So I was thinking about going to some shindig, but I just realized like it's too damn hot. So I'm gonna have to break it to them. Not that I feel like I don't know. When you don't know where you stand with people, kind of makes it's made me now just like, hey, I'm sure they could care less whether I come or go. They probably expected me not to, because I know, like, especially when I've never felt any respect. But like I said, I can see that I didn't demand anyone giving me any, you know. And that's just it. If you, I feel like those people that will demand, and that's not so much as hard to get, but when they really treat you like I could give a care if you're here or there, those are the ones that people will gravitate more to than the one who's like, hey, what? I can help you. Yeah, sure. Oh, you're in the rain. Here, have an umbrella. I'm in my car. You can just take mine. I could get another one. You know, you can't, you shouldn't. No, let that person be out in the rain. They should have paid attention to the forecast for today. You know, just don't care. Don't care more about someone than they're caring to do for themselves. Um, and so that's when I realized, okay, I'm just gonna stay the freak away from people. I'm just naturally, I want to care. But since people act like they got a hard time showing it, you know, and I guess that's why I'm just like, I just as soon as just travel around this world and meet as many people as I can. It's like family included. They got their own thing. It's just like things are just. It's wild to say like, hey, it just wasn't the same like how I grew up. It's like I'm part of that era, and I guess it's for argument's sake. You go through one level where everybody can relate, and then you get to another level. People fading off, or people just being like, hey, they're still the same. More than likely miserable. What's my favorite life lesson? Wow, that's one that just really stumped me right there. I guess the favorite is just the realest. You gotta love yourself. You gotta really, really love yourself. And people say, "Oh, I love myself," but I don't think they really understand what that means. And especially in love yourself even more so. You can set a good, positive, prime example. Because if you don't, you know, when you show an example of half-ass and giving a giving a care more about a stranger eating first before you know, giving a care to the point where you let somebody drive your car so they can get to work that's probably 2 blocks away while you walk 20 blocks. And they're like, oh, you're so nice. You're so sweet. You're so generous. You're such a fool. You're such an idiot. That's what they're freaking saying. Some people become bitter. And may I not sound like, because I'm far from it, far, far from it. That's what I've just realized, it's like we just in a take, take, take. And I am just such a giving person. Probably because I didn't grow up with a lot of love, affection. And once again, nobody's playing no pity patties. Just realize how stuff is. Hey, South Asia. I'm not sure right now about what all lies in the Southern Asia. When I'm looking in the map in my head, but I do know that nonetheless we're all related. So with that, I say, welcome, Samira Loves Candy. You seem to be a calm person, but you have seen a lot. I have seen a little bit. Yeah, I'm calm right now because I've been so mad about so many things, disappointed and hurt, from my choices, and then I feel about like other people's choices that I followed behind that got me to here, and it's nothing I can do about it. As much as I would love to change and start all over, but it just seems like that's just a cycle of how life is. We can all get to that point where we'd be like, if I could just start it over. I didn't know any better. I didn't know any better for a lot of things. But now what I do know better is when I watch people and their mannerisms and how they act, when the eyes are shifting, I catch on to that. I catch on to how people can be or are being. And when I'm realizing that, hey, I'm going out of my way for someone who really could care less if I come or go. And I need to take heed of that and understand and start doing the same damn thing. Because it's overall, it's almost like the nice people aren't going to get ahead. Being nice is not going to get you ahead. You got to be smart. You got to play it smart. So torn. It's like, what do we do next? What are we gonna do next with this? What are we gonna do with you guys out there in the YouTube world? I got so many ideas brewing in my mind. So many ideas. And I know the key is to start on one. Write down the ideas and projects one. Twirl them around, bounce them in the hat, pull out one and go do it. And then it all will just trickle down. But instead, everybody would rather live in an imperfect world and live by other people's fantasies and dreams and fuck ups. You know, it's like you got a dude right now that, you know, it doesn't matter, but it's an interracial couple. They're young, inexperienced in life. Dude can talk about, hey, we had got a bunch of diapers for the baby shower. I'm taking them back to get my money and go and gamble it. This dude is making a way by acting like he's just jacking off money, claiming to be farting in the, casino and all this, just being obnoxious and that's the new thing right now. Don't you see? Like that's where they're swaying people away to be fuck ups. Excuse my French if you're not allowed to hear it, but you're allowed to, like, go off, gamble your whole everything away, eat food like crazy, you know, just waste, waste, waste. It's like that's what they're pushing for. Everybody waste, 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 waste. Look now, they're about to get you. You can't see. Can you hear though? Just tell me that. It's like, what do you want to see? Me for what? But there, do you see me? I'm not trying to be rude. But I'm like, okay. I'm trying to make a point, but I don't have nothing to hide. Um, Now what time of the year is it's about to start? Where money you should be saving, you're about to push it all out. First, next weekend or next week after next is Labor Day. You got that's gonna be your first. Then that's September. September, go to school, go to work, work, work. And hi, what's up? Thank you. I love them too. My earrings. And October. Hey, let's get costumes. Let's buy this. Let's get candy. Let's have a party. Even though it's within the month, you're still people are gonna get ready for it, spending money. Right after October comes November. More and more. Hey, let's get this, get that. Even though you're not gonna celebrate till the end of the month, but you're gonna be piling up money. People are gonna be like, hey, take off. Let's go meet over at cousin Joe's and Larry's. So like using gas, and then right after that, up. Now here's this other made up holiday. We gotta buy this and that and this, and I gotta get this and that to people to show them whatever. But it's all about just wasting, 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 wasting. Nothing really productive that can benefit you because you know what? There's gonna be rainy days. They're gonna happen. There's gonna be a chance that you're gonna live, even though they've designed it now where it's just fast food, fast food, fast food, a mom and pops. Fast food, fast food, fast food, grocery chains, all this to where people are just buying and eating out, eating crap all the time. Yep, I'm kind of one of them. Kind of one of them. But I just also like this. I can cook my own food, so I can get lazy. Look, I got a Planet Fitness membership, and I really just use Planet Fitness to go to the bathroom. Like I don't use it as I should, but today's a different day. We're starting off different, right? We're starting off in here bitching and whining, so may we work it out a little bit. So what's my favorite food? Asian. I like just Asian food. The Asian in me just always my taste buds are, for rice and fish and coconut and soy sauce stuff. So I like I like Asian food and curry, so that's all part of Asia. I'm always down for that. I'm always down for some rice and eggs. hmm Rice, eggs, onions, garlic, and soy sauce. That's a struggle package right there. That'll get you by. That's all you need in your cabinet. Get you a 50-pound bag of rice, big old bottle of some soy sauce, especially some light, dark, and sweet sesame oil. Like that's just the basics. To at least you'll always be able to eat something cool. But shoot, I love a good steak, good whiskey, wine, all that. But like I said, back to the fact where you've got all of this crazy man-made stuff, and the real thing is about like togetherness, loving people. You know, I'm a Californian. That's where I'm from. I'm from California. I lived all up and down California, so I can just always say I'm a Californian, not from one particular. I don't really care to say that I'm from one particular city that I was just born at, because I've like lived in more than in a lot of places. You know, my mom carried on being like a gypsy, so you know what? But today, for the degen in me that I was in the previous months, I ended up being able to put this right here until I'm ready to throw it away. Something is a 3-in-1 breakfast station. You have your hat white on? Hell yeah, me too. You know about Jameson, or you just like, because it's a soft spot and it's red? Is that? Yeah. So got this here, the 3-in-1. So it looks comes with 20-ounce mini coffee maker, this little oven, and it says something about some hot plate, but I don't know. I didn't see no damn hot plate. But I haven't like opened up and looked at it either. So like I said, for my DJing moments, it's like, hey, we built up some points. Come on over here. They've been giving me stuff for a heck of long. I just finally like made it over there because it's kind of out of my way, and I don't have any friends anymore that live out there, so I'm not like rushing to run out of my way. You know, what am I gonna cook? What do you mean? I'm not cooking anything. I don't recall me saying I was gonna cook something. If I did, pardon me. Not cooking. I mean, if anything, I'm taking a break. I'm taking a break from doing stuff for people, trading my time, whatever. But right now, it's just like, I'm really just not getting kind of tired. So I was just like, let me just be away. Just be away from my normal and just give myself like a few days. Maybe I like gather up some content. Just now I was trying to look at like what hotel, but that's just it. I was like, if I get one right now, so I'm not gonna get a hotel. I'm gonna kind of like hang out because I'm still kind of stuck. I'm really thinking about like going out of town too. Like I'm not rich, but I still got like a budget, so that's early. Maybe like hit up some family. I do have a couple of family members that are like, hey, I tell you to come by, you never come by. I'm like, okay, I might just go do that. And especially because I have time, I want to go check on a relative, my grandpa's brother. My grandpa's passed away now, pretty much all of them. I think it's like this the last brother uncle. And that's what it is too. Everybody has different phases in life, and you can have people that that you'll know that they weren't really good towards some people, but they were always cool with you. And it's like to be so torn in those situations where you're like, well, they were always fair with me, and you feel kind of bad to socialize because you're like, because you've heard stories of how they could be with others or someone you might care about. You're like, damn, I didn't know that they got down like that, you know? Yeah. Anyway, like I said, there's times where I just have so much in my brain that I'm just like, hey, I want to talk about this, I want to tell people that, and that's why I see why a lot of performers they carry notebooks, you know, because you'll come up with a thought or an idea, and if you don't write it down, you will forget it. It's not like a might. You will. You forget it in that message. And it's like right now, that's how my brain is like, it's just going blank. And I'm, like I said, I had so much stuff, so many cool, like, ideas and things that I feel like are funny. And it's like right now, it's like I just have nothing. It's just like, I have a lot of stuff to say. Like, do I need to, like, maybe I need to have a, a drink to get myself back like motivated and on that frame of mind that I was in. Cause I had some funny stuff going on in my brain, damn it. Or just more so like food for thought. Okay, here's one. So there was a state fair and it gets really hot, like over in California, in Sacramento, there's state fair. It's really really hot out there, and so they're proposing that they start their fair later in the year, you know. And a point was brought up that, the basic clientele are the kids, in the summertime. Like they've got on Friday, I think it is, where you can bring in like 85 cans of food. You get a ticket to go in. There are concerts that are there, you know, and you got like, especially like during the day from the like you still have the retired older people, but you have people who might not have a lot of money. They had lots of different days, but namely the kids, up until a certain hour of the day, I believe kids can be, within a certain age and they don't have to have a chaperone. Or do they have to hold the whole time? I don't think so, but don't quote me on that. But the thing is, what we're debating about is it's like, hey, you got from people who work, is like even like the work. Hey, bro, no, no, not right now. Not your bro, not your bro. Even if I was a lesbian, all that bruh is silly to me. Um, and those are things you gotta take into account for when it comes to like the revenue. Those same people, and then kids are gonna be in school, because what it starts around sometime. I think right, like it just started right in the middle of August or something. School is what I'm saying. So if you started the fair later in August or September, well, school's already in. It's just like, you guys, are they gonna change the curriculum for that? I saw like Big X the Plug got arrested for some pot, over in Texas, which Texas has just been like, um, they're like, it's a lot of, I know, dude, there's a lot of people that smoke pot. They go over to Oklahoma and get their pot. But it's like to arrest a dude for that, and like they know, like he does way more than that, and he had a concert like at the same night somewhere else, and they arrest him. It's like, here, see, that's all part of that. It's all part of that cycle in that industry, which is a real dirty. I joke around about, hey, like, let me get my 15 minutes, my one hit wonder check. I partly am like, no, I'm for real. Like, shit, use me. Can't tell me you don't need some lesbian looking, breastless, you know, thick, studly, whatever. However, I could be any kind of character. Yo, what's up, or soft, or whatnot, or I could be the cancer victim. Just like fucking use me, hell yeah. But I'm for sure, just like John B. and them. Let me get in, get my 15 minutes, and I'm out. I can work in the background, especially get my brain motivated. I got lots of like thoughts, like just pumping out left and right. You know, 'cause people, the world's gonna keep on going, and they're gonna be pointing and stuff in you. That's the one. Don't be, or that's the one. Be like that. That's the one. Everybody's got whatever, some kind of opinion. The most opinionated people usually are the ones who got the biggest issues. You know, the ones who look and come off as if they just got it all down packed and perfect. They're usually the most depressed ones. You know, they're usually the ones too. They're just like, hey, how come not me? I want to tell you, like, the most, the last bit of like compassion that I've had for the world, people that were close to me and everything, is that I was cordial enough that I'm like, I got the flu, so I know you're offering like the, hey, we could kiss and all this stuff and hold hands and all this. And as much as I would just love to do that, I got the flu though, and I just couldn't give it to you or anybody. And I'm like, I could have really been, because people would have been like, that's dirty. If you sick, you don't tell nobody, and you just run around like drinking after motherfuckers and stuff. And which makes me even think of something about that, like drinking after people. That's the one thing that when they had that pandemic shut down due to COVID, it got me just more and more about like I ain't trying to share my germs with. I don't give a damn. I wouldn't give a damn about some person, male or female. You my best friend, especially if you got a mate. I know that you were licking or sucking on them or something at some point. It's just happened. I don't have to see it. I don't need you drinking after me. I don't want that. I don't want it in my brain. It's really just like you can have it now. Like that's just I don't give a shit. You know. Some people I said I was had the flu and I didn't just to see how they would react. Just to see how they would treat me. You know. So it's and like I said, and there's a whole lot of people that they could be in a predicament. They don't share it with you. You know. Because they feel like, hey, it's not showing, so I don't need to say. And I'm just like, forget that. For me, that's just, if anything, it's my last bit of just my sacrifice for the betterment of others. You know, to where maybe when I'm weighing out my sins, some of the things that I did that were honorable will take precedence over my sins. It's funny how, speaking of sins, how people can do you wrong. You can do the same shit they did, or they can do the same that you did, but they'll point their finger more at you, but you, as if it's like watch those people who feel like, hey, they can do no wrong, you know, like the one dude, what would he say? He was like, if your wife, your girl got male friends, she's sure enough to she's sure enough to sleep with him. Basically, is what he was saying. Yep, that's facts. Some things that kills me is I always wonder. I don't even. Hey, let me. You know what? I don't know what a skinwalker is, Nostrovia. So, okay, if that's what you feel. um, I say a couple they married 40 years, and at some point, and it's different when it's a man or a woman. I feel also. 'Cause I want to make that point because I was about to say a dude. Dude had affairs for 20 years of his 40 years he was married to his wife. Last 10 years, he stopped all the affairs. He's just faithful to his wife. She finds out. There's a good chance she may be upset or she'll be like, I knew it, blah, 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 blah. But I forgive you. That's my point. But you take a wife, same scenario. Dude finds out. She done been licking and splitting and all this and spitting out. He's not gonna feel the same way. I'm pretty damn sure. You know. I don't see a dude saying, "Yeah, I had knew." Behind my back, you was doing this. You was bringing dudes over to the house in our bed and all this stuff, and he's just gonna forgive you in life. Gonna go on. So, when I say all that is, it's like for that next level of people coming up. Because I see in this world it's so much. It's kind of like live and let live. No, free love, be yourself, experiment, experiment. And it's like, no, do for sure. Um, go with your passions. Be driven to what you're attracted to. Have enough restraint to not be careful. Be safe. Be mindful. Because there's so much. It's not just about um, getting with child. It's not even just about like if you get from a simple venereal disease to something that you can't get rid of. It's not just about that. It's all those things of experimenting and avoiding the repercussions that are life changing, lifelong. And that's where I'm saying where that's went out the household. You got people barely talking about to the girls about menstruation. So I'm not imagining that there's a mother or a father that's pulling her son aside, especially nowadays. And then you gotta set an example, because because that's also the downfall. You could tell your kid all the right things about what to prepare and prepare them for the world, but if you're not living by those things or you're doing other stuff to where you make your kid have no respect for you, they're not gonna listen to stuff you're saying. Even when they hear you, they'll hear you, they'll go through an example where they'll be like, man, my parent had warned me about that. And then they still don't take heed to what you say because they'll see you doing dumb stuff that they feel like, I don't want to listen to them. They don't even listen to them. You know. And so that's what I'm saying about it. It's like, we gotta grow up. We gotta be mindful of the actions we take. We gotta respect and love ourselves. Because just like for me, I mean, I'm at a point where it's like, hey, it's neither here nor there. I'm allowed to whatever this platform I can talk whatever to people, but there's gonna be moments where like you don't got to, but you should listen to somebody when they're telling you something that's gonna be for the betterment of your life. And just because that person isn't That's what I say. So, it's like you heard that phrase, all that glitters ain't gold. You might look up to the one chick that she got it like this, her hair is always done, and it's always this, and it's always clean, and all that, but they're probably not happy. you know? I've seen a lot of older women that, yeah, they might have had this and that, and they're miserable. Miserable. They die alone. Miserable. And that's not to say like you shouldn't keep yourself up par, clean and all that. No, nobody's not saying that. What are you saying? What I'm saying is some people sacrifice for a life that they think they would really want to have, and they end up missing out on living altogether. And they can't ever be straight up. They become just this liar. Their whole life is a lie. You know, they'll sneak around behind people's backs. They'll tell one person this thing and tell another person that thing just to have attention. But they're miserable because they settled. And now it's just like, hey, they may have this and that, but they don't have what they really want: love, passion, attention. And I'm speaking to people that want it. For somebody to say, well, they don't want. No, they want it. Because here's the thing. I thought I had wanted those things. I had it. Then I realized that at the time when I had it, and I had it with someone else, that they didn't want it too. And I'm just kind of one of those. If you do something to me, well, hold on. Let me show you how that feels. Wind down with me. Oh, DJ Black Woman's on. We're going to go see what's up with DJ Black Woman. Thanks for